Yediyurappa wins confidence motion in the Assembly, assures the House that his government will not indulge in vindictive politics. Appropriation Bill also passed. Karnataka Assembly Speaker K Ramesh Kumar tenders his resignation. The 3 disqualified MLAs, 2 from the Congress and 1 independent, move Supreme Court challenging Speaker's decision to disqualify them for the term of the present Assembly. On International Tiger Day, India records a 33% increase in tiger numbers in a span of 4 years between 2014 and 2018. Prime Minister Narendra Modi releases the results of All India Tiger Estimation 2018. Results show there are 2,967 tigers in India compared to 2,226 in 2014 estimation. PM says with around 3,000 tigers, India is one of the largest and safest places for tigers. Samajwadi Party MP Azam Khan apologizes to Lok Sabha over his remarks against BJP MP Rama Devi in Parliament. Speaker Om Birla says members must refrain from using language that affects the dignity of the House. The Dam Safety Bill and a National Medical Commission Bill in Lok Sabha taken up for consideration and passing. Rajya Sabha takes up Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill and Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Bill 2019. President Ramnath Kovind reaches Benin on the first leg of his three-nation tour to African countries. President Kovind to hold talks with President of Benin today and also address National Assembly in Porto Novo. Sports Olympic champion Dalila Muhammad sets the world record in the women's 400 meters hurdles, runs a blistering 52.2 seconds race in the United States National Championship. Let's go across now to Rajya Sabha, where Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is responding to the unregulated deposit schemes.
Even after the Sikh Industrial Companies Act had been invoked, but the debtor continued to keep hold of and possession of the properties. Now, further, if you were to look at the SARFAESI Act, you saw a regime where the focus was on recovery of debts, and the object, in contrast, the object of the code is for rescue of the company, so that even if it's in difficulty, the problems are minimized and the losses are fairly distributed and the financial burden is not on any one particular individual or particular category of creditors. So the last resort, in a way, for the code was liquidation. And given this kind of a progressive feature, the Insolvency and the Bankruptcy Code acquired a great importance, and post the passing of this, there's been a lot of sense of relief among the companies, which even probably had the chance of becoming a going concern rather than leading to liquidation. So the World Bank ease of doing business for India improved post the bringing in of the Insolvency and the Bankruptcy Code. The ranks improved for India, gave a lot of hope for industries that if they really do want to have the process of liquidation brought in, there is an amicable way of coming out of it, and also without any black mark on them. So as this was going on, we also within 2.5 years of this code realized that there are certain areas in which, for want of clarity, the interpretation given by various courts or even by the NCLT led to a very vital question, that if the legislative intent of the IBC was itself becoming weakened just for want of clarity. So today, as we are coming here with an amendment bill, it is only to make sure that each of these amendments which are being brought in are brought in for greater clarity which is required, so that no gray area prevails, no interpretations which are going against the original intent of the Act is still prevalent. So you find that in this particular amendment, set of amendments that we are bringing in, of the 7, you can say 8 amendments that we are bringing in, 4 are explanatory in nature. And any additional amendments that we are talking about are more to ensure that interpretation is given for time which is required and a particular time that has got to be laid before for the resolution itself. We are not leaving it open-ended, we are not giving longer unending time, and therefore bringing in clarity in terms of time-bound decisions that are essential to keep the legislative intent. So in a way, the code is being also monitored by a central government expert committee, and the amendments which are being made are made after due stakeholder consultations, a lot of discussion which has been happening through the media, and also industries which have been approaching the government saying an urgency with which the set of amendments are to be brought in, because courts are also waiting. I can in fact give the picture of the number of cases which are pending even at the application stage. So this is aimed at, and very many big insolvency cases are all waiting for resolution. The balance of interests of all the stakeholders was becoming an issue, and therefore we have brought in this set of amendments for the consideration of the House, and I hope the members would have gone through the papers to see why it is so urgent, why, because of the various different interpretations which are coming through the tribunals and courts, there is a fear that the original intent with which this Parliament passed the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is probably getting diluted. We should not allow the dilution for want of clarity, and therefore I appeal to honourable members that the amendments be looked at in that perspective, and we are here to, of course, respond to any question that the members would ask, but the need is to have this passed so that there is clarity for all the businesses who are seeking insolvency and bankruptcy code to give them a solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Motion moved. There is one amendment by Sri Vinay Vishwam for reference of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2019 to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha. You move amendment with a list of names for the proposed committee.
Sir, only one sentence. It's a matter of principle, and that was raised in the House many times. I won't want to repeat it. I shall speak on the bill later.
Since you have not given names of select committee members.
That's why.
Not move. The motion for consideration of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2019 are now open for discussion. Sri Kapil Sibbalji.
Sir, I rise to participate in this discussion, but before I proceed with my observations, I'd like to make a statement that I've been appearing in many of these cases. Not that I have deep interest, any personal interest in any client, but I certainly have represented several stakeholders in litigations before the court as well as before the NCLT. So I wanted to disclose my interest. Now, sir, I think that this is a well-conceived legislation, the whole...
Well, you were earlier listening to Finance Minister Narendra Yediyurappa speaking on the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill. She talked about the need for the amendments in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Act. Well, let's move on now. On International Tiger Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the results of the 4th cycle of the All India Tiger Estimation. The All India Tiger Estimation Report 2018 says India, with around 3,000 tigers, is one of the safest habitats for them in the world. 3/4 of the world's tigers can be found in India. Prime Minister lauded the collective efforts of all stakeholders that has resulted in this tremendous increase in tiger population.
सभी लोगों से यही कहूंगा कि जो कहानी एक था टाइगर के साथ शुरू होकर टाइगर जिंदा है तक पहुंची है, वो वहीं न रुके। केवल टाइगर जिंदा है, इससे काम नहीं चलेगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailing India's Sankalp Se Siddhi mantra that has led to a 33% increase in tiger population in India since 2014. He released the All India Tiger Estimation Report 2018. The report states that 3/4 of the world's tigers can be found in India. Prime Minister lauded the collective efforts of all stakeholders that has resulted in this tremendous increase in tiger population.
9 long years ago, it was decided in St. Petersburg that the target of doubling the tiger population would be 2022. We in India completed this target 4 years early. This is one of the finest example of Sankalpa Se Siddhi.
PM Modi expressed confidence that India will prosper both economically and environmentally. This balance is what will contribute to a strong and inclusive India. Over the last 5 years, forest cover across the country has increased as rapidly as has the expansion of next-generation infrastructure. Protected areas have increased since 2014 from 692 to more than 860 in 2019. The number of community reserves has gone up from 43 in 2014 to over 100 today. India has emerged as a leader in the sphere of climate action. The country has achieved several global emission reduction and clean fuel goals much before the set deadlines. India has already achieved the Sustainable Development Goal for cutting emission intensity of GDP goals by 20 to 25% and is a leader amongst nations striving to transition to clean fuel and renewable fuel-based economies. PM Modi called for a balanced, smart and sensitive approach to conservation.
हमें सह अस्तित्व को भी स्वीकारना होगा और सह यात्रा के महत्व को भी समझना होगा. We have to be both smart and sensitive and create a healthy balance of environmental sustainability and economic growth.
Forest and Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar attributed the success of Project Tiger to the nature being a part of our cultural heritage.
4 साल पहले मैंने जब आंकड़ा लिखा था बोर्ड पर 2226, तब लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगा था कि भारत आगे बढ़ रहा है. कारण है कि हमारे जीवन शैली का हिस्सा है, हमारे संस्कृति का धरोहर की हिस्सा है कि हम प्राणियों को भी चराचर सृष्टि का हिस्सा मानते, उनको सगे सोयरे मानते हैं. तो इसमें एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भाव है हमारे जीवन का. सारी वनस्पति और सारी प्राणी सृष्टि भी हमारे जीवन का एक हिस्सा है.
PM also presented an award to Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve for showing the highest increment in the quadrennial management effective evaluation.
Population of tigers can be maintained in future also and for the decades to come and centuries to come. And tiger will remain as an elegant animal, which is an indicator of healthy forest ecosystem.
India is emerging as not just the fastest growing economy, but also a conservation hub, clearly illustrating that it is possible to strike a healthy balance between the two. Bureau Report, DD News. Showcasing to the world India's rich environmental heritage as well as taking India's tryst with wildlife conservation and as his own experiences too, the global stage, PM Modi will feature in Discovery Channel's Man vs. Wild program. Here's a sneak peek.
An ace adventurer who redefines the rules of survival unites with the leader of the world's largest democracy.
Welcome to India.
Watch this dynamic duo.
मैं आपके लिए इसको मेरे पास रखूंगा.
On an epic adventure of a lifetime.
You are the most important man in India. My job is to keep you alive.
Man vs. Wild. Watch Bear Grylls and Prime Minister Modi. Premieres 12th August, Monday night at 9.
Karnataka Chief Minister BS Yediyurappa has won the trust vote. He moved this morning in Karnataka Assembly. The trust motion was passed by a voice vote. Earlier, while moving the trust motion, the Chief Minister promised he will not pursue vindictive politics and will set the state administration right. He reiterated that his government has decided to give 2 additional installments to farmers of the state, besides what they are eligible for under PM Kisan Yojana. He appealed to the opposition to work together with the government for the state and called for unanimous support for the trust motion. Congress Legislature Party leader Siddaramaiah and JDS leader H.D. Kumaraswamy opposed the confidence motion. Siddaramaiah claimed Yediyurappa does not have the mandate of the people and claimed there is no guarantee that he will remain Chief Minister for long. The Assembly passed the Finance Bill. The day also saw Karnataka Assembly Speaker K Ramesh Kumar resigning from his post. Meanwhile, the 3 disqualified Karnataka MLAs today moved to the apex court. Congress rebels Ramesh Arikeholi, Mahesh Kumathalli and independent R. Shankar filed a petition challenging Speaker's decision to disqualify them for the remaining term of the present Assembly. Moving to news from Parliament now, Samajwadi Party MP Azam Khan apologized to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla for his unparliamentary remarks against BJP member Rama Devi during the ongoing session of the House on 25th July. Let's go across live to Benin now, where President Ramnath Kovind is on the first leg of his 3-nation visit to West Africa.
Accueilli par le ministre des Affaires étrangères de la coopération. Cette visite historique est la toute première en terre béninoise d'un homme d'État indien de ce rang, témoignant ainsi clairement du grand intérêt que l'Inde porte au Bénin. À l'occasion de cette visite, les 2 chefs d'État ont eu un tête-à-tête au palais de la Marina, au cours duquel ont été abordées les questions relatives à la coopération bilatérale, au partenariat Inde-Afrique et à la situation dans le monde. Cet entretien s'est déroulé dans une ambiance chaleureuse, a permis aux 2 hommes d'État d'exprimer leur satisfaction des excellentes relations d'amitié et de coopération qu'entretiennent le Bénin et l'Inde et de marquer leur volonté commune de les consolider davantage. Ils ont convenu de poursuivre leurs efforts pour élargir leur panier d'exportation et soutenir les investissements mutuels. Les 2 chefs d'État ont exprimé leur satisfaction sur la coopération dans le domaine de l'aide au développement entre les 2 pays. Le président Kovind a annoncé l'ouverture d'une ligne de crédit de 100 millions de dollars américains au profit du Bénin pour ses projets prioritaires nationaux. Reconnaissant l'importance d'investir dans le renforcement des capacités des ressources humaines, le président Kovind a annoncé des formations en langue anglaise pour les cadres de l'administration béninoise. Les 2 chefs d'État se sont également penchés sur la possibilité de renforcer la formation en matière de défense, notamment dans les domaines de la lutte contre le terrorisme et la piraterie maritime. Les chefs d'État ont reconnu que les échanges entre l'Inde et le Bénin depuis des décennies constituent un pilier de consolidation des liens entre les 2 peuples. À cet égard, le président Kovind a annoncé l'inclusion du Bénin dans le système de visa électronique de l'Inde afin que les ressortissants béninois puissent accomplir en ligne les formalités de visa d'affaires, touristiques et d'autres types de visas. Les 2 parties ont matérialisé le renforcement des bases juridiques de leur coopération par le renouvellement de certains accords bilatéraux venus à terme et la signature de nouveaux accords, à savoir l'accord portant sur le programme d'échange culturel mass-média de la jeunesse et sport entre le Bénin et l'Inde, l'accord sur la télémédecine et la télééducation, l'accord portant exemption mutuelle de l'obligation de visa.
That was a joint statement by the President of Benin, Peter Talon, and President Ramnath Kovind of India will go across live in a short while from now, once again. For now, we'll move on. The Rajya Sabha today paid tributes to former Union Minister and Congress leader S. Jayapal Reddy, who passed away yesterday. When the House met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu read out an obituary reference for the departed leader. Naidu got emotional while remembering the former Union Minister. He said in the passing away of Jayapal Reddy, the country has lost a veteran parliamentarian, an outstanding orator and an able administrator. Jayapal Reddy had represented Andhra Pradesh in the upper house twice.
Remarkable. And he was here in both the houses, and also he was spokesperson of his party at that time. And it's really painful that he left us. I was there in Hyderabad, went to his house yesterday to pay my last respects. I'm sorry, I could not control my emotion because of 40 years of personal association.
Jayapal Reddy's last rites were performed today at Necklace Road in Hyderabad. The funeral procession began at 9 a.m. from his house. His remains were brought to Gandhi Bhavan, where the public paid respects. He was accorded a state funeral. Jayapal Reddy represented the state of Andhra Pradesh in the upper house for 2 terms, from April 1990 to April 1996 and from September 1997 to March 1998. He was a union minister holding different portfolios during 1997 to 1998 and 2004 to 2014. A car in which the survivor of Unnao rape case, her family and lawyer were travelling, was hit by an overspeeding truck in Raebareli yesterday, killing 2 members while leaving her and the advocate critically injured. BJP MLA Kuldeep Sengar, who's an accused in the rape case, was arrested on 13th April last year. UP DGP OP Singh assured that fair and free probe will be conducted. He added that primary probe suggests it was purely an accident due to an overspeeding truck. He also said that the driver and owner of the truck have been arrested.
ये निर्णय लिया है कि यदि पीड़िता की मां या उसके कोई भी रिश्तेदार अगर सीबीआई की इंक्वायरी की डिमांड करते हैं, उनकी मांग करते हैं, तो राज्य सरकार को इसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है और हम लोग इसको सहर्ष सीबीआई को हैंडओवर कर सकते हैं। यदि कोई निवेदन या कोई अनुरोध उनकी तरफ से आता है तो राज्य सरकार इसमें एकदम निष्पक्ष कार्रवाई चाहती है और यही कारण है कि हम उसके लिए तैयार हैं। अगर सीबीआई की डिमांड वो करते हैं तो हम सीबीआई को भी हैंडओवर कर सकते हैं ये केस।
The Supreme Court today agreed to hear on the 2nd of August a plea of fugitive economic offender Vijay Mallya challenging the confiscation of properties belonging to the companies owned by him and his family members. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi took note of the submission of Fali S. Nariman appearing for Mallya that the fresh plea be heard along with the pending one on the legality of the law and the action to confiscate the properties. The senior lawyer sought adjournment of hearing on the petition questioning the confiscation of properties. The bench has now posted the matter for hearing this Friday. Mallya had approached the Apex Court on 27th June seeking a stay on the confiscation of properties owned by him and his relatives. Anandiben Patel today took oath as the governor of Uttar Pradesh. Outgoing UP Governor Ram Nayak attended the swearing-in ceremony of his successor. Fagu Chauhan was sworn in as the 40th Governor of Bihar. The 71-year-old Chauhan succeeded Lalji Tandon, who is now the Governor of Madhya Pradesh. He was administered the oath by Patna High Court Chief Justice Amreshwar Pratap Sahi at a program held at Raj Bhavan in the presence of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Deputy CM Sushil Kumar Modi, besides several ministers. Chauhan, a 6-time MLA from the Ghosi Assembly constituency in UP's Mau district, had resigned from the UP Assembly on Friday. The 6th of 8 indigenously built landing craft utility Mk4 class ship LCU L-56 has been commissioned into the Indian Navy by Vice Admiral Atul Kumar Jain, Commander-in-Chief of Eastern Naval Command at Visakhapatnam today. LCU L-56 is an amphibious ship with its primary role being transportation, deployment and recovery of main battle tanks, armoured vehicles, troops and equipment from ship to shore and vice versa. Indigenously designed and built by Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited, Kolkata, the ship's commissioning portrays the growing capability of the Indian Navy in becoming self-reliant through indigenization. Speaking on the occasion, Vice Admiral Jain said the new ship will be stationed at the strategic port, Blair Command. That's it then in this edition of the news. News and updates will continue on TD India and TD News.